Hey guys, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Today's video will be on a classic Sudoku created by Philip Newman. Now we had covered a classic previously by Philip on the channel, of which even I wasn't aware the name of the technique. The video was received very well, and we hope that this video is also received in the same spirit. If you want to play out this Sudoku, please check the link given in the description of the video. Try the Sudoku yourself and do remember to come back and watch the video. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please check out the videos that we have been posting on a daily basis, and I'm sure you'll be enjoying those videos, so please subscribe to the channel. Now let us move on to the rules of the Sudoku. Classic rules apply. Each row, each column and each 3x3 box will contain digits from 1 to 9 without any repetitions. So with that, we'll start solving the Sudoku. Okay. So I see 9s in column 7 and 9, which means that 9 must be in these two cells. And there are not much 9s in the grid, so let us focus on a different digit. There is a 3 in row 5 and row 6, which means 3 must be in one of these cells, but there is a 3 here. That gives my 3 here, which means this is not a 3. And there is also 2 in column 5, which means I place the 2 in row 6, column 6, and these 3 cells must be 1, 4, 7 for the box, 2, 6, 8 and 3, 5, 9. So 1, 4 and 7. There is a 7 in row 6, which means this must be 1 and 4. There is a 3 in column 7 and 8, which means that this would be a 3. Simple classic rule. And that gives a 3 here, and which gives a 3 in one of these cells. And looking at these 3s, we'll get the 3 in one of these cells. So I think we have placed all the 3s except 2, right? Yeah. Okay, 1, 3, 4 and 9 and 5 and 8 in column 8, right? Which means I can lock 5 and 8 into these cells, right? 2 cells. So I get a locked pair here. And this 5 immediately resolves this 5-8 pair. So this would be 8 and this would be 5, which means that these 3 cells must be 2, 6 and 7 for the box. And the remaining digits in the column must be 1, 4 and 9. So 9 is here. So this is 1, 4. This becomes 1, 9 because of the 4, and this is 1, 4 and 9. Okay, now if you look at row 5, there is only one cell left for the 2. So we can place the 2 here. And that gives the 2 in box 9, only one cell again. Just using scanning technique. So column 7 looks almost filled. 2, 3, 9, 1, 5, 8. So remaining digits are 4, 6 and 7. Let me quickly write them. So there is a 6 here, which means this is 4, 7. And this 7 gives a 4, 6 here, and 4 and 6 is here, which means this must be a 7. So that immediately fills my column 7, right? Because of 4, 6 here, I got a 7, and that made me fill these 2 digits. And now this 4 gives a 1 here, and these 2 cells must be 7 and 8, right? So these 2 cells are 7, 8, and 7, this 7 resolves this 7, 8 pair immediately. So far, so good. The classic is progressing well. And this one gives a 9 here and a 4 here. And along column 9, the remaining digits must be 1, 5 and 6. And this 6 removes the 6 from here. So there is a 1, 5, 6 triplet. So this one removes the 1 from here. So 3, 5, 8, 1, 2, 9, remaining digits must be 4, 6 and 7. But 7 cannot be in these cells, which means that the 7 is going here. And these 2 cells must be 4 and 6. And this 4 immediately resolves this 4, 6 pair. This is 4 and this is 6. And this 4 gives the 4 in box 5 and gives me a 1 here. And remaining digits must be 8, 9. And these 2 cells must be 1 and 5. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So 1 and 5, right? So this 5 gives a 5 here and a 1 here. And there is a 1 in column 2 and column 3, and which means that this must be 1. Classic, and that removes the 1 from here. And now if you look at columns 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remaining digits must be 7, 8, 9. Let me pencil mark them. So 1, 3, 5, 8 and 9. So remaining digits are 2, 4, 6 and 7. And now if you look at column 5, you can't have 2, 4, 7, right? So this must be a 6 and these cells must be 2, 4, 7. So 6 is removed from here, 2 is removed from here. Okay. So column 5 looks almost filled. So let me write the possible candidates. 5, 8 and 9 are remaining. So this is 8, 9. This is 5, 9 because of this 8 and this must be 5, 8 and 9. Okay, so if I look at column 3, because of this 2, 4 in columns 1 and 2, I can log the 2, 4 in row 1, row 2, column 3, right? 2, 4 pair. So which means that the remaining digits here must be 7, 8, 9 and 7, 8, 9. Because we have placed 2, 4, 5 and 1, 3, 6, so remaining digits are 7, 8, 9. And this 8 removes the 8 from here, this is 7, 9 and this would be 7, 8 and 9. You can feel that the Sudoku is slightly turning harder now. So let us see. 1, 3, 5, 2 and 4. So the digits must be 6, 7, 8, 9 remaining. But 7 is here. So these cells are 6, 8 and 9. So let me look at row 8 now because there are 5 digits placed. 7, 9, 2, 4 and 6. So remaining must be 1, 3, 5, 8. So you can't have 3, 5 here. So this is 1 and 8. Can't have an 8. So this is 1, 3, 5 and this must be 3, 5, 8 because of the 1 here. Okay, so column 5 must be in one of these cells, right? So which means that I can remove the 5 from here. So this is 1 and 3. Okay, I can place a 5 here, right? Classic, 5 is in row 1 and row 3 and 5 is not here. So which means this would be a 5. So I was looking along 5s and I got some information. So there is a 9 here, which means that 9 in box 2 must be in one of these, must be in one of these 2 cells, right? And that means I can remove the 9 from here. So 9 goes into these cells. Oh, I can resolve this 2, 4 guys. There is a 4 here, right? So 4 and 2 can be placed. And that 2 removes the 2 from here. So this is 6 and 7. And now if I look at row 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this cell must be 6, 7 and 8, right? Because 9 is here. So this must be 6, 7, 8. And even there is a 6 here. So this is a 7 and 8. Okay. Six, 8 and 9, which means that 3, 5 must be into these 3 cells, must go into these cells, but 3 is here, which means 3 must be in these 2 cells, which is marked already. So this cell cannot be 1, 2, 4 and 6 or 3, 7 or 8. So this is only 5 and 9, right? Only 2 possible candidates. So it always helps when you, write the candidates in a cell which are limited to only 2 or 3 values. So, okay, there is a 5, 9 pair. Beautiful. So, in row 7, you have 5, 9 locked into these 2 cells, which are the only 2 possibilities for 5 and 9 in this row. So, that means that this is not a 9. So, this is 7, which means this is not a 7, this is 8, 9. Okay. And because of this 5, 9, I remove the 5 from here. And remaining digits must be 1, 4 and 6, which can be pencil marked. but I have a 6 here, right? So this is not a 6, this is 1 and 4. Can I extract some more information here? There seems to be something going on here, guys. There are too many, cells with just 2 candidates as possibilities. There must be something. Okay. Wow, we have a really nice logic at this point in the grid, which we have even covered in one of your previous videos. We have what we call a finned X-wing, right? So I'll highlight the cells and illustrate the concept better. So in row 8 is in only these 2 cells, right? No other cell can take the 8. And if you look at row 2, 8 is in 3 cells. So because of this cell, the X-wing is kind of getting spoiled, because if I don't have 8 as a possibility in row 2 column 1, I would have an X-wing, right? But because of this 8, this X-wing is spoiled, but still you can use this to some information. This cell is called a fin, right? In Sudoku terminology, this is called a fin. You can still eliminate 8 from rest of these cells in those columns, but the elimination is limited to only the cell which shares the same unit as the fin, right? So in normal scenario, imagine that there is no 8 here for now, so you would have eliminated 8 from all these cells, right? If the X-wing were to work normally. For now, imagine that there is no 8 here, so 8 is in one of these 2 cells and 8 is in one of these 2 cells, so we have an X-wing pattern. So you would have eliminated 8 from all these cells highlighted in yellow. But because of this fin, you can still make the elimination, but the only difference is that the elimination is limited to only the cell which shares the same unit as the fin. So this cell is the only cell you can remove the 8 from. Or in other words, if you want to see what happens if there is an 8 here, so if you have an 8 here, the 8 in row 2 goes into this cell, and there is no 8 that can go in row 8, right? So which means that this is not a 8. A nice concept. So which means that this would be a 6. This is not an 8. So let me place the 6 there. Okay, so I place the 6, which means that because of classic, I get the 6 here, and this becomes a 2, 7. Oops, this is a 2 and 7. And this is not a 6. So that was a nice X-wing. I'll add the link to the finned X-wing video that we have cataloged in our Sudoku playlist, so you can take a look at it again. The finned X-wing concept is also explained in that video. So let us continue with this Sudoku now. Still it doesn't seem to have become easier, right? So we got these 6s, but they don't seem to yield any other information in the bottom 3 rows. Okay, amazing guys, this is just amazing. So we have one more technique at this point in the Sudoku, but before that I'll remove these highlighted cells. So at this point in the Sudoku, right, let me remove these cells which are highlighted in yellow. Okay, go back to the Sudoku mode. Yeah, so at this point we have in the Sudoku what we call an XY chain, right? We have covered a video on XY chain also previously on the channel. I'll add the link to the same in the description. So at this point, if you guys want to pause the video and find the XY chain yourself, please do so. I'll pause myself for maybe 4 seconds. Okay, so for those of you guys who have found the XY chain yourself, that's well and good. For those of you who haven't, no problem. So we are here to learn. So I'll show you the XY chain. So the cells highlighted in yellow form an XY chain. So for explaining this, I'll go to another window. So let me write some, some digits, or I'll generalize maybe. Let's say you have AB here, BC here, CD here, and AD here. So this is how a typical XY chain looks like, but it need not be rectangular in all the cases. But just for illustration, I have taken it in a rectangular pattern. So you basically need to form a link between cells which have only two possible candidates. You know that the Y wing is restricted to 3 cells, but an XY chain has 4 cells with bi values, means there are 2 cells, 2 possible candidates in each of those cells. So when you have such a case, so between these cells, the digit A would be present. Regardless of whatever happens, A must be in one of these 2 cells, because if you don't have an A, so let's say you have a B here, remove the A from that cell, let's say you have a B here and you have a D here, right? You don't have A between these cells. Now what happens is that this becomes C, and now you can't have any possible value in this cell, right? So which means that A must be present in one of these 2 cells. The concept can be extended. B must be present in one of these 2 cells. Similar idea. If you don't have a B, this becomes A, this becomes C, and this becomes D. So C and D will remove both the possibilities from here. And similarly, C must be in one of these cells and D must be in one of these cells, regardless of whatever happens. So let me write some digits for you and explain the concept. Let me put a 6, 7 here, a 7, 8 here, 8, 9 here, and a 6, 9 here. So when you have such a pattern, right, this is called an XY chain, and it is very, very powerful in classic Sudokus. So when you have such a pattern, so you can blindly corner pencil mark 6 in one of these cells. Let me use a different color, maybe 6 in one of these cells, 9 must be in one of these cells, 8 must be in one of these cells, and 7 must be in one of these cells. So what it basically means that is that 6 is eliminated from all these cells, 9 is eliminated from all these cells, 8 is eliminated from all these cells, and 7 is eliminated from all these cells. Brilliant, right? Brilliant concept. And this is not the only way by which an XY chain happens. It may also be something like this, right? So let me write some digits, some more. It can be also of this sort. AB, maybe BC here, a CD here, and somewhere along this row AD. So this is also an XY chain pattern. You also need to be on the lookout for this. So basically in this case, what you can do is that there will be at least one A between these 2 cells, because if you don't have A in these cells, this becomes B, this becomes D, right? And now look what happens here. This is C, and you can't have any cell in this cell. So if you want to look at this in case of a scenario, let's say 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 5, 8. So when you have something of this sort, AB, BC, CD, and AD, 5 must be definitely in these 2 cells, at least in one of those 2 cells. So what it lets you do is that you can eliminate 5 from all these cells, right? All these 3 cells cannot take a 5, because if it has a 5, then this becomes 8 and this becomes 6, and you'll have a clash in these cells. So this is another way by which an XY chain works. Now let us get back to the Sudoku. So at this point we have a beautiful XY chain in the Sudoku. Let us see if we can put this to good effect. So now because of this, we have almost a rectangular pattern, but not strictly rectangular. You can say it looks like a, what is this shape? Trapezium maybe. But still the chain exists, right? This has an effect on this, this has an effect on this, this has an effect on this, and this has an effect on this. So which means that 8 must be in one of these 2 cells. If you don't have 8 in these cells, so you can see just what happens. I'll use red color. Let me put the 7 here, sorry. Let me put the 7 here. Let me put the, where did the center pencil mark go? Yeah. Let me put 7 here. Let me put 1 here. So we are just imagining what happens if you don't have 8 in these 2 cells. So this becomes 4 now. And now look what happens to this cell. You can neither have a 4 nor a 7. So we are having a contradiction. So which means that 8 must be in one of these 2 cells. A 1 must be in one of these 2 cells. A 4 must be in one of these 2 cells. And 7 must be in one of these 2 cells. A brilliant, brilliant classic Sudoku to illustrate the XY chain technique. So which means that I'll remove 8 from these cells. So this cell cannot be 8. So 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 8 and 9. So this can only be 6 and 7. There is no 8 here. And 7 is between these 2 cells. You can just imagine what happens if 7 is not here, and just work out with these 4 cells. You will get a contradiction. So 7 must be in these 2 cells. So 7 is eliminated from here. 1 must be in these 2 cells. So 1 is eliminated from here. and that gives a 3 here. Beautiful, guys. I just love this classic Sudoku. So we got a digit, so that means this is not a 3, so this is 5 8, and I think I haven't used the XY chain fully yet. You have 4 in between these cells, right? So which means I can eliminate the 4 from these cells. So this cell cannot be 2 6 8 3 4 5, so this can only be 1 7 9, right? Oh, you have a 1 here, so this is 7 and 9. Fantastic, we have got a lot of eliminations, and this cell is not an 8, so 3 5 4 6 8, so this must be 1 2 7 and 9, but I have a 9 here, so this must be 1 2 1 7. Okay, so this 3 gives a 3 here, which means I can remove the corner pencil mark of 3's. Wow, a beautiful Sudoku, guys. Really, I love this XY chain. It's so lovely to look at. But unfortunately, don't think it is helping us to complete the Sudoku. I was hoping that it would complete the Sudoku, but it hasn't. Oh, this is lovely, guys. Superbish. A razor sharp reduction, you can say. So what happens if you have an 8 here, right? Let me do a corner pencil mark and show you. If this is 8, before that I'll remove the corner pencil marks from that cell. So this was 8 and 9, right? So if this is 8, this becomes 9 and this becomes 9, and this becomes 5 and this becomes 5. Simple, right? But really difficult to look at these things in a classic Sudoku. So you cannot have an 8 in this cell. So if you have an 8, both of these cells become 9, and for row 7, both of these cells become 5. So complicated reduction, you can say. It's easy if you look at it in the way I saw, but it's not actually easy to look such techniques. So which means that you cannot have an 8 here, right? So this was, oh my god, what am I doing? So this must be 8 9s. So you cannot have an 8 here. So this would be 7 now, and that gives a 4 here, a 1 here, and an 8 here. And I think now we should be completing the Sudoku, guys. So look how fast we are going to get the digits now. This 4 gives a 2, a 7, a 2, this 8 gives a 5, a 9, 8, and this 5 gives a 1, 6, 5, this 6 gives 4, and 2 4 5 1 3 8. So 6 7 and 9 are remaining candidates, so this must be a 5, and there is 7 in these columns, so this must be 7, and these two cells must be 6 and 9, and you have a 6 to resolve that immediately. So this is 6 and this is 9, that gives 8. This means this is 7, and this 8 resolves this 8 9 pair, and that resolves this 8 9 pair, right? Because of this 8 you can resolve this 8 9 pair, and now the remaining digits must be 1 and 9, right? You have 1 here, so which means this is 9 and this is 1, and with that we have completed this really you can say pedagogic Sudoku, right? Because we got to learn how an XY chain works really. So hope you guys enjoyed watching me solve this Sudoku. I really enjoyed finding the finned X-wing and the XY chain in the Sudoku. I'm not certain if we could have continued the Sudoku just with the XY chain. You guys maybe can let me know. Maybe the XY chain alone would have completed the Sudoku. I'm not really certain about that. So please let us know your thoughts in comments, how the video was. We'll be happy to see how you guys have received the video. So take care until we see you again with the video. Bye bye.